What is the mother who does not get angry when her son does not listen to her? Which employer is satisfied when an employee does not serve him? What husband or wife doesn't get upset when their spouse simply turns their back on them? Who would like to be talking to someone and this person just walk away, without giving you an answer? Without a doubt, no one likes to be left without an answer, without being heard. 458. If we don't like someone to stop hearing, we also need to hear others. Even more so when we are dealing with God. We can learn, with this text from the prophet Zechariah, an important lesson about prayer. 1. Many people cry out to God, wanting to be attended to. 1.1. Many people think that prayer and fasting are ways to make God do what we want. Jer 33.3. 1.2. Many teach about prayer in consecration campaigns that seem more like magic formulas to make God respond. 1.3. In the time of the prophet Zechariah, it seems that there were already people like this. Some left Bethel and went to Jerusalem to cry out to God. 1.4. They seem to be disappointed by the fact that they have not yet been cared for by God, and they want to know if they are going to shout without being heard. 1.5. Prayer and fasting should not be done for the purpose of benefiting ourselves, but rather God. 1.6. God benefits when we draw close to Him, even more so when we honor Him, humbly obeying His voice. 2. God had cried out, but He had not been heard. 2.1. The prophet shows that God, through the prophets v.7 in the law. v.12 He had been crying out for a long time, seeking the obedience of the people. 2.2. God asked them to do, practice justice, kindness, mercy, and depart from evil. 23. The people hardened their hearts, turned their backs on God and did not listen to His prophets. But they refused to pay attention, and they turned their backs and covered their ears. They hardened their hearts and did not hear the law and the words that the Lord of hosts had spoken by the Spirit of Him through the prophets of old. That is why the Lord of hosts is long gone. Zechariah 7.11-12. NIV 2.4. Many people go to temples to hear something that fills them with joy, that consoles them, that stimulates them. But we must go to church to hear God. Guide us how we should live to please Him. 3. Since they did not hear God, God did not hear them. 3.1. It is no use crying out, praying and fasting if we are not willing to obey. 3.2. Obedience is what pleases God more than sacrifices. He who turns his ears away from hearing the law, even his prayer is abominable. PV 28.9. God despises even the prayers of those who do not obey His law. Proverbs 28.9 NTLH. If anyone refuses to hear the law, even his prayers will be detestable. Proverbs 28:9 NIV 3.3. God warns that He will not hear the prayers of those who live in sin. When you stretch out your hands, I will hide my eyes from you, and even if you multiply